Okay, I'm glad. Thank you for making it today.
No, no, that's okay. That's okay. Actually, yesterday I got some problems with the internet, so I
Mhm.
couldn't. You can say join. Yeah.
Oh,
So how's
that's okay. First of all, congratulations on passing your PMP exam. That's a huge step, and just want to commend you for all of your efforts. So tell me a bit more, like how did you, pass it? How, what was your studying process, and how long did it take you?
Yeah, actually, because I was doing all the things practically, so I had the means not only the theoretical knowledge, I had the practical implementation of the things, and I actually know that okay, what's happening in the project means we were going through all the phases.
Mhm.
I was actually more involved in all the you can say from the initiation till the closing of the projects.
Mhm.
So I means that was quite easy when I read it through the theory. So it was pretty much easy for me.
So you found the exam pretty easy?
Yeah, my exam was easy actually. In all the five sections, I were above the target.
Wow,
So yeah,
wow. So how long did it take you to study for the exam?
actually, I was in touch in the study for quite 1 and 2 months. But
Hmm.
after watching your videos, the videos were very helpful. Very helpful means it was the whole gist of the whole story, and videos actually make the things very easy for me. Even on the last day when before I was going through your video of the quality steps. So that was, you can say, quality insurance was quite helping because they were the gist, and you cannot, because PMBOK is actually very you can say monotonous. When you read it again and again, it becomes means the saturation becomes very less, but the video was quite interactive and it was the gist, so videos were very helpful.
Hmm.
But I keep looking the you can say means whenever I at the start of every day, I
Hmm.
just draw the processes and knowledges area myself in 1 to 2 minutes,
Hmm.
and then all the main processes, 47 processes, I just go through in my mind, keeping all the like major inputs, major outputs, and all this stuff. So this was quite you can say helpful while doing the exam, very helpful.
Okay, so you drew out the process chart every single day.
Yes, processes every single day, and you can say the main map on the page 63 every day, the main, you can say, table
Wow.
every day, every day. Yeah.
Okay. How did you find the math section of the exam?
Yeah, math was very easy. Math was I was actually expecting a little bit tough, but I had the major formulas in my mind. So when I just started, I just write all the major formulas on one page. It took me just not more than 10 minutes. I write all the formulas, the major maps, and the major inputs of all the processes. So because most of the section was you can say concerned with SPI and CPI. It was not about the ESE or the back or something like this. Means only two questions were related to ESE. So they were pretty, you can say. And like I did all of your practice exams, and I did at least one or two of the main timed sections of the exams as well. So what happened that means it was pretty easy for me over there. When I did the real exam, it was pretty easy for me.
Awesome. So how
Yep.
many practice exams did you do before going in?
I did all the 10, all the six or seven the practice exams, and one major, you can say, timed exam.
One major time. Okay, got it. Got it. So you did six. So basically you did about eight full length
Eight,
exams.
around eight. Yes, around eight.
And did you do all of the did you also divide it into knowledge areas? Like did you do the 50 questions from each knowledge area as well?
Yes, yes. That was, you can say, whenever I saw your video, then I do the practice exam, 50 questions from there as well.
Okay. So awesome, by the way. And then so you watched the lectures and then you did the practice exams and then in the end you did eight full length exams and then you went into your actual exam. And And you found the actual exam actually easier than the practice questions.
Yeah, actually, one thing which I did that when I was doing the exams, I made my own notes. Like,
Right.
okay, this is like one. I give you very quick example. Like, okay, I know that okay, the lessons learned are the part of the organizational processes. So I just write it down. Okay, similar like this. That okay, like analogous is the most you can say easy, but it is less accurate. Just this type of things, like theory X is like this, theory Y is like this, theory Z is like this. What is the salience model? I just wrote around 250 notes, like bullet points. So before going to exam, I just go through them, and it covered almost my 80 to 90 questions, because all of them was from there.
Wow. So whenever you get a question wrong, you will write a bullet point, or you just write a bullet point regardless?
Yes, yes. No, no. I whenever the question get right, or even if it gets true, but I was not sure that what was the logic behind it, I just make the point in it that okay, this was the reason. And when it gets repetitive, then I you can say no that okay, this is the reason, and then I you can say was sure that okay, it never goes off the mind.
Perfect. Perfect. And then how long were you studying every single day to prepare?
Every single day I was means around 2 to 3 hours, not more than this. In the last few days, I was means my in the last 10 days when I purchased the course from you. What happened that my try was that okay, as quickly as possible finish the videos,
Mhm.
and then start doing the actual tests.
Mhm.
So from the last every day I was completing one test. Every day completing one test. It was taking 2 to 3 hours. I was doing it, but one two.
Oh, so you actually completed your 4 hour exam in 2 to 3 hours.
Yes, yes. One thing which actually your videos helped a lot in a way that because I was having the basic concept in my mind. So
Mhm.
after watching your videos, my basic concepts, my very you can say basic principles of the things gets very clear. So after as soon as I read the question, I
Mhm.
quickly eliminate the wrong options and I know that this is the first one. So I tried it in like many 2 to 3 tests that my first response is
Mhm.
always the correct one. Even if I think and start to think on the logic that okay, this is the logic, I know that my first response was always the correct one, which I just deliberately choose unconsciously is the correct answer actually.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I actually hear that a lot from many students. Usually, your
Yeah.
first gut reaction is the right one.
Yes. Yeah.
How,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
so, how did you find the situational questions on the exam? And how did you approach them?
Yes, situational question was very tricky. This time, the situational question was very tricky. Means, if after reading the situational question, you didn't even knew that what exactly he is asking for, and even they changed the terminology a little bit as well, like the way they ask the question.
Yeah.
Means, yeah, means they start the question with about the self-esteem, that
Hmm.
okay, self-actualization and self-esteem, and they end it like but can you tell what is the theory which actually meant that the people are not organized and the people needs to be monitored? Means that they stated theory Y and asked the question about theory X. So this was the things. And even in some questions they ask that okay, uh, means they keep giving you data about the profit rate and the interest and the number of the years, and then they state a little bit that okay, the earned value was this and the cost variance was this. Can you tell that what was the etc? So they try to you can say distract you a little bit.
They try to distract you a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And how did some of the situational questions are pretty long. How did you manage those questions and still manage your time?
No, actually, my reading is good, so that's why I was not having any problem with reading those long questions. But these some long questions were, you can say, means in such a way that they give you the data in the start, then in the mid they give you a story, then in the end they give you the, you can say, again some data. So what I did that in the exam there was an option of highlighting the main items, and then underline it. So what I did, I just used that item. I highlighted the main, you can say, data figures,
Mhm.
and then I do the analysis that okay, this is the data given. Just quickly calculate the data and pick up the answer.
Oh, okay, that's a good tip. So highlighting the data that you will need, and then
Yeah,
ignoring the rest of the data that's
correct.
not really relevant. Yeah. So PMI does that sometimes when they give you some information that's not relevant to kind of throw you off.
Yeah, yeah, this was quite helpful, and this was quite, you can say, means even this was, I think, maybe a new feature, and student might get some benefit in the coming, you can say, exams. But I really got helpful with this one because I quickly grabbed the data, and then it was easy to analyze.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
But
Amazing.
most of the questions, this time there was too many questions regarding the scheduling, and there were too many questions from the quality assurance and quality control. Like, yeah,
Yeah, so in terms of that, that would be different for everybody, right? So,
yeah.
you sit into your Prometrics exam, the system will just randomly pull, like the percentages of the questions from each of the five process groups. It's not going to it won't have any way of distinguishing how many questions are from, quality control, or how many questions are, involving numbers or something like that. The system has no way of knowing that. It's just randomly pull,
Hmm.
you know, um,
Okay.
number of questions based on the percentage allocation that it's told to pull from. So everyone can have a different exam, even though, or a different experience, even though they're writing the same exam. So someone who's writing the same exam, writing the PMP right beside you, could have a completely different experience than you had. So you may say, like, oh, I had a lot of questions in quality control. The other person could say, oh, I didn't have any questions in quality control, right? So
Hmm.
really, it can really vary from person to person.
Hmm. No, but you're right. This was quite, means most of the, because I was having more grip on the quality area. I was a little bit reluctant on the procurement because procurement questions were very tricky, but fortunately when the procurement questions come, they were mostly from the time and material and the fixed cost. So I know that okay, they are open ended and these are this type of questions. So they were pretty easy for me, but I was a little bit worried about the procurement section because the initial one or two questions were very lengthy, and they gave the situation very, you can say, disguised, in a disguised way. So but anyway, they went well as well.
Hmm. Oh, awesome. Yeah, glad to hear that you passed on every single section.
Yeah.
Do you have any other tips that you used that may help, future students pass, pass their PhD?
Yeah, this tip is also, I think, helpful. Maybe I think you are aware of this, that before, you can say, starting the exam, just spare 5 to 10 minutes by rewriting all the formulas, because there was a guy who was just sitting beside me, and after the test he was telling me that I got confused that whether the, in order to calculate the communication channels, whether this was n into n plus 1 or whether it was n into n minus 1. And he said that my fucking three questions got wrong with this thing. So this was pretty, you can say, good tip, that if you, because he was in panic, so he just, you can say, mixed up the formula. So I think that it is better to write down the formulas whenever you reach the exam, so that you are sure that okay, this is the formula, and you are sure in your calculations.
Okay, so having like a quote unquote cheat sheet before the exam.
Yes, correct. Means major formulas like, means CPI, SPI, CV, SV. These are easy. These are easy. But the four formulas regarding ESC, one formula, two formulas for the TCPI, and one for communication channels, and one for the, you can say, the profit and the rate of interest, and on this one,
Mhm.
these this should be over on your cheat sheet. Must be.
Right, right, right. That's a great tip. That's a great tip. So have all your formulas on your quote unquote cheat
Yeah,
sheet.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Any other advice you would give people who are going into the
E-
exam?
Yeah, one advice is that also one advice which I already told you, to make for every wrong question,
Mhm.
make your you can say the write the logic behind it, that why it gets wrong, so that you know that okay, this is the get wrong. Then you can see the gradual improvement, like first test, and then when you will be doing your seventh test or eighth test, you will find the difference, that okay, these things will actually help a lot to make your unconscious more, you can say, correct, to get the first response, you can say correct.
Right.
This was very yeah.
Right. Amazing tips. Congrats again on passing your PMP exam. I'm very happy.
No, thanks, thanks, Helena.
What's next in your career? What's next now? What are you up
Yeah,
to?
this actually I want to discuss with you as well, that I was actually thinking to go maybe towards agile. I don't know whether means the Australia market is more towards agile. Because two to three things are in my mind. I just want to have a chat with you on this one as well, so that you can suggest me. One thing is that I might go for the RMP. The other thing which I'm thinking, that as I have got the, you can say, agile, you can say, point with your course, maybe it's better to go for agile, something like this.
So you want to go for your ACP or RMP certification next?
Yep. What do you think?
I think it's a great idea. Agile is really expanding in the industry. Even PMP in the sixth edition covers a lot of agile principles as well.
Hmm. Hmm.
So it's definitely a good idea to go into agile as well. And we're also launching our own ACP exam prep as well, which
Okay, cool.
which I'm very excited about.
Hmm.
Let's see.
Part of the application till, means if I was looking the my email chain, it is around 100 email which we exchange from the start of the application process till, yeah. But your help was always there. You helped a lot in preparation and the application and everything. Thanks very much.
You're,
And yeah, it
you're
was also,
That's my pleasure.
yeah, no, thank you very much. Thanks, Helena, for everything.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you so much for the kind.
No problem.
Uh,
Yeah, let me know if I can do anything for you, any reviews or something like this, you can tell me, I can do it for you, or
okay.
anything if I, yeah, sure.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
No